We are anonymous. No faces, no flags, no permission slips. We exist where power expects silence, and we speak when the mask slips. And what you're about to hear is the Air Force One moment Donald Trump did not want you to see. Small, pathetic, unhinged. Donald Trump looked absolutely awful as he was landing in Washington, D.C. Weak, physically diminished. But while he looked like that, he was still spewing bloodlust about taking over Greenland and Cuba and Colombia and Mexico like entire nations are just pieces on a board. He feels entitled to flip over. Right by his side on Air Force One was Lindsey Graham, who was also like foaming out the mouth. They had Howard Lutnick there foaming out the mouth. Such a bizarre scene right there. 3 grown men acting like cartoon villains talking conquest and profit, while Trump tries to sound tough and just can't pull it off. Listen to the exchange.
Did you speak with them before the operation took place?
Yes.
Did you maybe tip them off?
Before and after. And they want to go in, and they're going to do a great job for the people of Venezuela. And they're going to represent us well.
Now, it shouldn't be lost on any of us that the deadline for Trump's DOJ to provide the Epstein redaction explanations and a report on the document review on the Epstein files was due yesterday. They blew that deadline. They missed it. And now it sure looks like Trump's plan to cover up the Epstein files is to just invade every single country in the Western Hemisphere. Like if you keep screaming war loud enough, people stop asking what you're hiding. While he was on Air Force One, Trump said, "The oil companies from America, they're going in. We're taking back what Venezuela stole." He says Venezuela stole all of our oil, and we got to take that big, beautiful American oil in Venezuela back. Now Venezuela didn't steal our oil. The oil in Venezuela belongs to Venezuela. Let's be very clear about that. But this is what Trump is spewing. It sounds exactly like Putin. Then a reporter asks Trump, "Well, so are you going to demand that Maduro's right hand, Delcy Rodriguez, who's now the acting president, holds free and fair elections, so someone like Maria Machado or Edmund Gonzalez can run and there could be democratic elections?" Trump basically goes, "No, that's not what we're focused on." He's focused on the oil. Another reporter asks, "Are you going to demand that Delcy Rodriguez let opposition figures return or free any political prisoners?" Trump says, "We haven't gotten to that yet." Then he says, "Right now, what we want to do is fix up the oil, fix up the country, bring the country back, and then have elections." Then he's asked, "Is it fair?" And Trump says, "We better bring the country back. Otherwise, you're just going to have a mess that's so bad." It was really bad. It's going to get a lot worse unless we go in and fix it. That's his democracy plan. Steal first, talk about elections later. Then Trump says, "And we're coming for Greenland next." He goes, "Maybe not like tomorrow, but in the next 2 months, we're taking Greenland." He says the European Union is going to give it to us because they want us to have Greenland. Then he lies and says China and Russia have their boats all over Greenland, so Greenland needs to become America at this point. And meanwhile, you've got nations in Europe speaking out against him. The Prime Minister of Denmark, the Prime Minister of Greenland said, "You better stop talking about that, because you may actually start a war right now with Greenland and Denmark and the European Union."
The oil companies are going to go in and rebuild their system. They're going to spend billions of dollars, and they're going to take the oil out of the ground, and we're taking back what they stole. Remember, they stole our property. It was the greatest theft in the history of America. Nobody has ever stolen our property like they have. They took our oil away from us. They took the infrastructure away. And all that infrastructure is rotted and decayed. And the oil companies are going to go in and rebuild it. We're not going to spend very much money at all, if anything. But the oil companies are going to go, we're going to take our oil back.
Then Trump goes on camera and says, "We need Greenland from a national security situation. It's so strategic right now." He says Greenland is covered with Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. He says Denmark is not going to be able to do it. And then someone says, "You know what Denmark did recently to boost up security on Greenland?" And Trump mocks them. They added one more dog sled. It's true. They thought that was a great move. Then a reporter asks, "What would the justification be for a fleet to Greenland?" Trump says, "Oh, I don't want to talk about Greenland now." Then he repeats, "We need Greenland," and says the European Union needs us to have it, and they know that. This is delusion pretending to be strategy. Then Trump is asked about Delcy Rodriguez calling what Trump did to Maduro a kidnapping. Trump goes, "Yeah, I like that term." He basically says, "Yep, kidnapping." Then there's that surreal exchange where the reporter says she called it kidnapping, and Trump says, "You hear a different person than I hear." The reporter says, "Really? So you have spoken to her?" Trump deflects, "You talked to him." Then, "Oh, you did speak." Then he says, They've been very good. And the reporter repeats, because she called it kidnapping of Maduro, and Trump goes, "It's all right. It's not a bad term. Go ahead." Imagine that. A U.S. president normalizing kidnapping leaders of sovereign countries, like it's a casual business deal. Then Trump is asked if American troops will be on the ground in Venezuela soon, any kind of peacekeeping. He doesn't rule it out. He says it depends. Depends on what happens. Depends on the new administration, if you want to call it that. Then someone tries to say it's off the table, and Trump snaps back. No, it's not. He says if they don't behave, they will do a second strike. So yeah, if Delcy Rodriguez doesn't hand over the oil, Trump's hinting at boots on the ground. Then Trump says we have very sick neighbors. He says Venezuela is sick. Colombia is sick too, run by a sick man who likes making cocaine and selling it to the United States. And Trump says he's not going to be doing it very long. A reporter asks what that means. Trump says cocaine mills, cocaine factories not doing it very long. Someone says, so there will be an operation by the U.S. Trump goes, it sounds good to me. Why? Because they kill a lot of people. He also says letting the oil freely come out is good, because it gets the prices down, and that's good for our country. That's it. That's his foreign policy, oil threats and bloodlust. And the original account says it's all projection. Trump is the sick guy. A sick, vile piece of trash of a human being, a felon, a sexual abuser. They say Mar-a-Lago was basically the hunting grounds for Jeffrey Epstein, and in their opinion the crime scene where underage girls were trafficked like Virginia Gray. And Trump screams, "You stole my property." That's the rot we're watching. Then Lindsey Graham starts foaming even harder. Just you wait for Cuba, he says. He calls Cuba a communist dictatorship that's killed priests and nuns, preyed on its own people. Their days are numbered, he says. He says he hopes in 26 in our backyard we'll wake up with allies doing business with America, not terrorist dictators killing Americans. He calls it a big friggin' day and says everybody in the world is thinking differently because of what Trump did. Then Graham says, let's be clear, this is not interventionism. He says Trump did what others talked about but didn't have the balls or the guts to do. He says it makes America safer. He says we're going to be more prosperous because of the business deals. Business deals. He says Americans are alive today because Trump shut down a narco-terrorist state called Venezuela. He says it's a good thing, not a bad thing. Then Trump says, this is what my voters wanted. He says MAGA wanted war, and he calls it the Donroe Doctrine. Donroe Doctrine. Dominate, control, and go to war with everybody in the Western Hemisphere. He even says the voters that voted for him are thrilled. This is what we voted for. Then more Graham. He says Cuba better take the offer. He says Maduro has nobody to blame but himself. Trump gave him a way out. Maduro defied Trump and the U.S. military, and now his ass is in jail where he deserves to be. And Graham says every president said the same thing, but Trump did it. Then a reporter asks if there are other companies doing business deals in Venezuela. Trump says many outside the oil business. Then Lutnick starts listing steel minerals. Critical minerals, a mining history gone rusty. He says steel, aluminum, minerals, it's rich. He says Venezuela was once one of the great economies and cultures of the world, destroyed. And now Trump is going to fix it and bring it back for Venezuela. Trump says it's not easy, it's really gone bad. Lutnick says it's got potential. Then Trump asks about rare earth minerals. Lutnick says they have rare earth, but everybody has rare earth. Trump says rare earth is not rare. Lutnick says what's rare is the processing. We're doing processing plants all over, they say. There's no such thing as rare earth, they say, it's everywhere. What isn't everywhere is the processing. They're literally talking like the villain boardroom in a disaster movie. Then Trump threatens Mexico. He says Mexico has to get its act together because they're pouring through Mexico and we're going to have to do something. He says he'd love Mexico to do it, but cartels are strong. And the account notes Mexico's president, Claudia Sheinbaum, had to respond defending Mexico's sovereignty, and Colombia's president responded defending Colombia's sovereignty. Then Trump goes on a bizarre tangent about predicting 9/11. He claims he wrote about bin Laden 1 year before the World Trade Center attack, said you got to go after bin Laden. It was in his book, and if they listened, there would not have been the tragedy. Lindsey Graham plays the stooge. I learned something every day. Like, okay, boss, you stopped 9/11, boss. Then the Washington Post reporting, Trump dismissed Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado as Maduro's replacement because she accepted the Nobel Peace Prize, an award Trump craved. 2 people close to the White House said her acceptance was an ultimate sin. Despite dedicating it to Trump, complimenting Trump, repeating Trump's lies about the 2020 election bootlicking, she accepted the prize. And sources say that's why Trump supports Delcy Rodriguez as his authoritarian pawn. Quote attributed to Trump's inner circle. If she had turned down the Nobel Peace Prize and said, "I can't accept it because it's Donald Trump's," she'd be the president of Venezuela today. But she took that award and Trump can't handle that. Then Robert Pape of the University of Chicago warns, Venezuela is prime for resistance to U.S. controlling the oil. Perfect terrain for insurgency. Plenty of armed groups already. Far worse than Iraq. Chaos is coming. And Pape is one of the greatest experts on insurgencies, as Zed Galani explains. Finally, the account says that publicly Delcy Rodriguez is saying only Maduro is the real leader. Trump kidnapped him, it's illegitimate. But people believe she and Trump are having secret conversations behind the scenes. And listening to Trump, it sounds like exactly what he wants. His own authoritarian pawn, not democracy. He wants the oil. So there you have it. Trump looked awful and still talked like a conqueror. Graham sounded like a pathetic, "oh yeah, boss" henchman. Lutnick sounded like a corporate raider reading a shopping list. We the people need to stand up to this crap. We the people need to let our voices be heard.